Counselor? There's a raccoon stuck in the vending machine.
That's so annoying. I wanted a snack.
Welcome to Trail Mix.
Our mini episodes from Camp Counselors podcast.
Each week, the stories come from you, our Camp Shady Birch campers.
We want to hear your juicy gossip,
Top secret confessions,
embarrassing and scary stories,
and sprinkle in our sage counselor advice.
Trail Mix is for the campers.
And God, do we love ya.
Hey, happy campers.
Welcome back to Trail Mix.
This is our mini episode. It's super teensy tiny and skinny.
Bite size, if you will. A little cucumber tuna sandwich with a little brown mustard and a little baby gherkin.
It's a size 00. And it's the episodes where we read listener submitted stories.
Why have I not been invited to more tea parties?
Tea parties?
I don't think I've ever been invited to a formal tea party with little bite-sized sandwiches.
Oh, finger foods.
I actually wanted to bring you to one of those for your birthday last year.
High tea, you mean?
Yep. There's this place in New York. It's called the Russian Tea Room. It's like iconic. I believe it's on the Upper West Side. I could have completely made that up.
We stayed at the hotel across the street from it. That's where they did the very first Real Housewives in New York.
Oh,
reunion,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's over there then. I was right. So it's like iconic. They do afternoon tea there like a lot, and it's like an iconic place to go. Whatever. I wanted to do that, and it's so fucking expensive for finger foods, and the timing is not ideal. It's like 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, and I'm not trying to shit on anything, but like some of the sandwich offerings, I was like, can I like just buy my own bundle? Like, I don't want this weird remoulade like tartar sandwich. Like, I'm like, oh hey, I see an egg salad. Can we double up on those and remove the remoulade? I'm like, for $85 a person, I want to go to the Contemporary in Disney World and go there.
Okay, we can fuck it up at the Contemporary.
Listen, I know they'll give me the zhuzh.
At Chef Mickey's?
I want to go to London.
Okay.
Who's our London campers out there?
Who's across the pond and uncircumcised? Sorry, it's the craziest way to start a podcast.
Did you want to tell your campers about the book you just read?
So I read a book. Speaking of across the pond, the book that I read was called Big Swiss. Some of you may have realized I talked about it on the vlog as well as a video that I posted on the internet. Have you ever read a book and you just wanted to like it really bad but you didn't? That's what this was. No spoilers, but it was such a good concept. It was about a woman who was transcribing for a sex therapist. So she would get the audio recordings and she would have to, type out everything. And the patients that would come in to the sex therapist, we didn't know their names. We just knew their initials. And she fell in love with this certain person she called Big Swiss because she was like from Switzerland. And then she kind of just started stalking her in real life, and like they happened upon each other by accident, and she was enthralled with this woman, and it was such a unique and fun creative setup that I didn't love. But HBO is doing a screen adaptation, which I'm hoping does better, but on Goodreads, I think I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Well, HBO can really pull it out with a screen adaptation. Sharp Objects was great with Amy Adams.
See, and I didn't like Sharp Objects.
I like the concept of the book you're talking about because it's kind of breaking HIPAA laws. It's dashing, it's daring, it's sexual, it's lesbian. Am I correct?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, we need more lesbian stories for sure on the main screen. I stand by that. So let's just hope it's a better film than it was a book.
It really just felt like a Tumblr fanfic that I read back in 2011.
Is it a sequel? Because I read that book. What's it called? Small Cheddar?
Shut up.
Let me just have my jokes.
Okay,
please.
you have it. It felt like it was written by an adolescent.
Well, it's funny because you read a book about lesbians. I just finished a book called The Song of Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good. If you're into the Greek mythology and you like gay people, highly recommend.
Now, I like Greek mythology. I hate the gays.
I hate gay people too. I'm not even gay anymore. I'm something different.
Yeah, I'm a lesbian.
I like my book that I read, but it was just like really heavy on the names. Hey, shout out to our Greek campers out there because sometimes y'all be putting words together and I'm like, Aphrodite, who? It was just really complex with the names, but it was great. So, hey, some books you love, some books you hate. I think for me, if I read a book, I like it instantly because I just finished it because it's just so hard for me to read a book. But you're very critical of your books. Would you give it on Goodreads?
I think I gave it a 2. They need to.
Wait, that's crazy. That's mean.
I may have given it a 3, but I wrote out how I felt about it because it just felt like by the time I finished it, I was like, I read this on a cruise. I feel like I had that time taken away from me. I know that's dramatic, but it like had such. I think it's because there was such potential with the story. And then it just shitted out for me personally. I know some people love the book, but I think I just held it like it was like a roller coaster going up, up, up to find that the drop, it was not satisfactory.
No, totally valid. Okay. Well, we do have the author here right now. Let's bring her out.
Don't you dare, because she kind of scares me. I've seen her in interviews.
Yeah, she's big and she's Swiss.
She could slap the tits right off me and I'd probably let her.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, should we get into the stories today?
Yes. I have a camper's run-in with a reality TV contestant.
I've got a story about a hamster funeral.
I have a story that makes me never want to ride a snowmobile ever, ever, ever again.
And a story about a big spoon from beyond the grave.
Let's get into it, campers.
This is a really big secret. Thank God we're on a body of water. This is Confession Canoe.
Welcome back to Confession Canoe. Hope you can swim. This is the part of the show where you share some sort of deep secret about yourself and we tell the people.
And we'll spank you with the paddle.
No, this is funny. This was like really funny. Hey, camp counselors.
Why you sound so nervous?
I was nervous.
That voice is somebody that I wouldn't trust sending my secrets to. Hey.
Hey. That's the noise you make from the other canoe across the pond when your canoe is starting to sink.
Oh, yeah. Like, hey, can somebody help me?
Yeah.
But you're embarrassed because you're like, oh, this is like, tough spot, but I'm going to have to be in the water anyway.
First of all, I just want to say how much I love you guys and how much you make me laugh on a weekly basis. I started listening back when y'all were in single digits, and I am waiting. I'm always waiting for the next episode. Thank you for what you do. Thank you so much. I was listening to an episode a week or two ago when Zach was talking about Survivor, and it reminded me of a time last summer I met a guy. I was dog sitting to make some extra bucks, and I was at the dog park we have along the river in my city. After a while, this guy started talking to me. He was there with his dog, so I engaged with some small talk.
Wait, this is how Greta meets Big Swiss in the
No
story.
way.
Yeah, and this isn't a spoiler. It's written on the inside flap.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I noticed he was wearing a Survivor buff on his head. So if you don't watch the show, guys, you probably have seen those headbands that they wear in Survivor, but they call them like buffs. And it's like a real kind of like piece of memorabilia. I wonder if you get to take your buff home.
Oh,
well,
probably.
To find out.
Oh.
Obviously, I asked about it. He told me he had just got home from filming and that he would be on the next upcoming season. I was like, no fucking way. He told me all about it, how it was in Fiji, and he didn't get very far before being voted out. Eventually, I gave him my number and agreed to go on a coffee date the next day. I would have done the same thing, girl. I would have done the same thing. He could be a complete, total uggo bastard. And I'd been like, okay, like, tell me about Jeff.
Not a bastard. Yeah, like we want to get the inside scoop. Just because we're going on a coffee date doesn't mean I'm going to swing my punani in your face.
How obnoxious. Imagine like being the former bachelor and then walking around in a full suit and a red rose and being like, oh, me? What's the question? It's like, why are you wearing your cast uniform? That's so weird. But
it's attention-seeking behavior.
But me talking about Survivor, trying to get on there nonstop, and them completely leaving me on red is even more embarrassing than what he's doing. So Survivor, if you see this, I don't even want to come on anymore. So I've actually ended my passion for you because you left me on red, and I will not take it well.
I'm going to have our editor edit that out.
No, keep it in, editor, please. We met at a local coffee shop the next morning, bringing our dogs with us. Oh, that's cute. That's not even her dog. She's like dog sitting. That's so funny. She calls the owner. She's like, I'll do this one for free. Please just give me the dog. He was shorter than me, which I do not like, but I still give him a chance because he was cute and cocky. I kind of fuck with cocky people too.
Yeah,
I do. I think cocky can be confidence. And sometimes someone's a dick. You're like, ugh, my God, I hate you. What are you doing after this?
Sometimes if somebody's too cocky, and I've had to catch myself doing it because I know in the industry that we are in, there are cocky aplenty. And we've been out at events and people are just like cocky and I cannot wipe it off my face that I just like don't like some people.
Well, this is more in like, not in like a group setting, but more on like a date. Have you been on a date with a cocky guy?
Buzz Lightyear from Disneyland. Yeah, I went on a date with him.
Did you like that he was cocky or did you didn't like it?
I think I just wanted to go on a date with Buzz, so I didn't mind.
Okay, well, we're going to move on then. We talked for a while and I circled back to the Survivor convo from the day before. That's the only reason why you went, girl. Of course you're going to circle back to it. He told me he lied about the whole damn thing.
Well, shit.
I can't. Apparently, he got the buff from a friend who found it at a thrift store or something. I guess that was the only way he could pick up girls. Needless to say, I never went on a date with him again. I told him I don't like liars. Maybe that makes me shallow, but I don't care. It's not shallow, girl. It's not shallow. That is so crazy that he did that. He gave me yet another reason to never trust men. Oh, that sucks. Sincerely gullible as hell in cabin 12. Listen, this is not a reason for you not to trust men. That you just happen to run into a complete, absolute freak. That is a freaky man, a freaky guy, not even a freaky gal, freaky. And why would you lie about that? That's so easily trackable.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, especially when the season comes out. It's like, bitch, where were you? How
They
long
edited
did
me out.
was he? It was a bad edit me out, I swear. Now, did she lie about having the dog as hers?
Camper, you really need to come clean about that. You need Camper.
You did show up with the dog and you were dog sitting.
And that, you know what? That was a lie because you had to keep it going.
But we're on your side.
But he seeked her out.
He sucked her out.
What?
Oh, seeked. Sorry.
Anyways, that's just like really creepy behavior. And Survivor, if you were to cast me on your show, I would never use my Survivor fame and buff for dog seeking attention.
Yeah, you can't use the buff afterwards. It's a memorabilia. You either keep it on a shelf or you use it as a book sock.
Oh, I would actually probably like use it when I was on the Peloton.
Oh.
Why am I going to frame it?
Well, it would get too dingy after use.
Yeah, but if it's in a frame, who cares? So boring. Well, it's your buff, your business.
Oh, I too have a confession canoe.
Oh, lots to confess here at Camp Court.
Hi, squirrely girlies. This is my favorite childhood story. Since I was a kid, I have been very obsessed with animals and especially my pets.
Oh.
When I was around 5, my parents were sick and tired of hearing my brothers and I asking for a dog, so they decided to get us each our own hamster. I named mine Peaches. What a cute name.
Such a cute name for a kid. I hate when kids name their animals Oreo. And I know there's a camper out there with an old cat named Oreo.
Yeah, or dog.
I just think Oreo is the most basic animal name. It's right above Buddy at this point.
I don't mind either of those names. I really wanted a hamster when I was younger, and I wanted to name him Mr. Sheffield from The Nanny. I don't know why. I just wanted that so bad. And then, ironically, my brother got a guinea pig, and it was black and white, and it had a stripe on the middle of, like, you know how Mr. Sheffield's hair was like that? Didn't name it Oreo. Don't freak out.
What did he name it?
Cody. And it was a girl. I was like, come on.
Okay, gender bending. I actually, when my friends growing up, his sister name was Cody, and she was great.
That
Love
is
her.
so cool.
Codi. Cody Lynn.
Oh, this was Cody with a K.
Okay, Cody is such a I'm
versatile.
Cody is such a versatile name.
It is, and my guinea pig's name was Abby because she was an Abyssinian, so it was like an Abyssinian wire haired. So I was like, oh my god, Abby, Abbey.
I like it. I like Cody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I should
Abby.
Abby.
It's like Abby. Come here, Abby, eat a carrot.
Like I was saying, I named mine Peaches. I loved that little rodent so much. It was the first time I had a pet of my very own, and my love for her started a lifelong passion for animals and their power to make our lives better. They really do.
They absolutely do.
They really do. Anyways, I think everyone knows that almost all hamsters die in crazy, absurd fashions. We talked about this at the very start of this podcast in like maybe before the 10s. When it was Peach's time to go, she took a giant shit 2 times her size and fell into the poop pile where she took her last breath. I don't mean to laugh. I was devastated. We decided to host a funeral for my poor poopy Peaches.
Oh, poor Peaches.
I'm sorry for your loss. The funeral had it all. We took all the furniture out of my childhood bedroom and filled it with folding chairs. My mom hollowed out a wooden jewelry box to make Peaches a tiny casket. There were readings from the Bible. There was a eulogy. I switched my keyboard to organ mode and played a very tasteful, melancholy rendition of Hot Cross Buns. It's all we can do, you know? There was even a luncheon after we buried her where we all said our favorite memories with Peaches. My grandmother even shed a tear, which I later found out was from laughter. Some of my extended family, this is crazy. Some of my extended family even flew in from across the country to attend this event.
What is that? That is crazy.
To this day, we cannot figure out why the hell they flew in for a hamster funeral. Well, obviously it was Peaches. She reached hearts far and wide.
Yeah, she was the people's hamster.
They were like, honestly, I had a work deal that I had to do over here. I was in the area and I figured I'd bring my family.
My miles were going to expire on my credit card.
Exactly. It all worked out. Sorry,
Yeah,
Peaches.
it
But
makes
thanks,
sense.
thanks for dying in a timely manner. For years, this was my family's favorite story to tell about my childhood. Whenever we were together for the holidays, someone would bring up Peach's funeral. That is, until one day, when I was 22, my older brother said, "Mom, was that funeral for Peaches 1 or 2?" My mom was wide-eyed and bright red. She confessed that Peaches had actually died a few weeks after we brought her home. At the time, she didn't have the heart to tell me. The day Peaches died, when I was at school, she went to every pet store in the surrounding area with the body to find an identical hamster. She brought home Peaches 2 and buried Peaches 1 in her friend's yard. When I got home from school that day, I apparently accused my mom of forgetting to feed her while I was at school because she looked, quote, way too thin. She already knew. She's like,
This
Mom,
new gerbil
why?
was like, what the hell?
Why is my hamster so skinny? Don't worry about it. I didn't feed her today. Years later, this is still my favorite story to tell everyone, and it's a true testament to the love and care my mom put into raising us. That is, she buried her jewelry box too. Like it is true. And if you were wondering, now my full-time job is to give the gift of human-animal connection to those who need it most through therapeutic and adaptive horseback riding to give others the love I once had for Peaches 1 and Peaches 2. That is so sweet.
That's amazing. That's like, see, that's what we're talking about. Was it last week's episode?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like kind of like finding a way for like your passions
Yes.
to pivot and kind of like carving out your own path. Like who would have thought that like a passion for like animals and like loving animals could lead you to be like a horse trained therapist? Like, of course, that's amazing. I love that.
Love the pod. Love you both. Signed, the camper in cabin 1 and 2.
Oh my God.
That was-
Clever girl.
Once I saw that sign off, I was like, this needs to be read.
That was so sad and funny. I love the idea of switching the keyboard to organ mode because I remember I was always doing that. My sister had a big one and I would just hit random, like, because there's 100 different sounds and I'd be like 77 and it would all sound like maracas. I was like, what the hell is this? This is really crazy.
What can't this thing do?
Yeah. Why are kids these days getting keyboards?
Good question.
Because like every house I went to growing up, someone had a keyboard.
Oh,
and we
yeah.
just played with it.
My very first keyboard I had, my brother has. You used it in an ad one time.
I did use it in an ad.
Yeah, that was mine when I was a little girl.
The little black keys, are they grippy? Because mine were grippy.
No.
They were like
grippy.
Yeah, it was weird.
Why were they grippy?
I don't know. My parents were freaky.
Oh, okay. That's odd. Well, let's just have a moment of silence very briefly for Peaches.
1 or 2.
Shh. Okay, we took 2 seconds for both of them. Thank you so much.
Scary stories around the campfire.
Welcome back to Scary Stories Around the Campfire, campers. I think we have 2 this week, right? You have 1 too?
Yes.
All right. Can I go first?
Yeah, please.
All right. Hey, happy campers. First off, totally love the podcast. I've been a camper since episode 1, and you guys make my week. So thank you. I apologize in advance for the story being a little long, but I promise it's a good one. It certainly is, camper. In true camper fashion, I love the outdoors and really enjoy snowmobiling in the mountains. I usually go a few times throughout the winter with my husband and some of his friends. We recently decided to take a snowmobile trip. However, my husband was not feeling well that day, so that led me to take the trip alone with 4 of his adult male friends. That's a real one. I'm like, my man's sick. Y'all go. I'm going to watch Bravo. We embark on the journey, starting late in the day at 3 p.m., and it took us about 80 miles and 4 hours to reach our destination, a restaurant/bar in a cute little town. Girl, I want you to run that one back for me. You rode 4 hours? 80 miles on a snowmobile and you left at 3?
Yeah, we should have left earlier in the day.
You got there at 7? I'm terrified to drive in the dark, let alone drive a snowmobile in the dark.
Yeah, and you know that the light on the front is rickety and it's going like this and it's just shining every which way.
I've never rode a snowmobile in my life. Have you?
Nor have I. And I wouldn't say no to it, but I honestly don't feel the desire.
It'd have to be the completely right setup. It'd have to be in a big open farm fields, and it would have to just be a vehicle.
Yeah, and it would have to be in the summer, in a topless Jeep on the way to the beach.
Oh, I like that. That's a fun plan instead. So they spent 2 hours at the bar, and it was approaching like 8:30 p.m. I was a little like, okay, I think we should probably leave soon. But nonetheless, 3 of the guys wanted to continue to go explore the town and go to more bars. I, however, really wanted to go back to our cabin as I was cold and it was definitely getting late. One of the guys was nice enough to offer to take the trip back to the house with me, so the 2 of us decided to start our journey home. The problem with this was that neither of us had any idea where we were going. One of the guys that took us to the restaurant was well versed in the trail system, so he acted as guide, whereas the rest of us just followed behind him. Knowing that he was not coming with us, my friend and I just decided that we would use our trail map on our phone to help guide us back. Well, this provided to be much more complicated than we expected. It was pitch black outside, and if you're familiar with mountain trail systems, they can be very confusing. Often, we would come up to an intersection and not really know if we were actually following a trail or if we were on some sort of access road or just a dead end.
I get that. Where it's like, wait, is this the trail? Is this where I'm supposed to go?
It's all just snow.
Yeah.
This is, and it's nighttime. And they're 80 miles away from where they're supposed to be.
And I'm sorry, GPS does not give sometimes. It's like, you're a fucking satellite. You should be able to figure me out anywhere.
I was unbelievably anxious the entire ride.
Same.
All I could think about was being lost in the deep wilderness and freezing to death as it was 10 degrees outside.
And that happens.
Phone calls and texts would not be possible because there was no service, and usually even tracking a location does not work because the GPS is not accurate. So it's probably just like placing them somewhere random, but like not even where they actually are.
But that just is so annoying, and it makes no sense. It's giving AT&T SOS.
Oh yeah, and there's lots of wild animals, coyotes, bears, meese that could even sneak up on you in the dark.
Moose are fucking scary.
Needless to say, I was completely nervous wreck for the whole 4-hour ride. 4 hours on a snowmobile. That's longer than it takes us to drive to Philly.
Those drinks and that pub mix better have been worth it.
I wish that this was the worst part of the story, but sadly, my night was about to take an unexpected turn. When I left the restaurant, I felt a little unfamiliar gargle in my stomach. I thought, that's weird, but it's probably just my nerves. Unfortunately, that was not the case. In the middle of our trip, I felt that I had the absolute worst urge to shit that I've ever felt in my entire life. I tried to fight it. You could literally never fight it. But the bumps in the trail combined with my anxiety did not help. My friend stopped at one of the intersections and I politely said to him, "Hey, I really have to pee, so I'm going to hop off the trail for a second in the woods. Do you mind driving up a little bit and waiting for me?" He was super nice about it and said, "No problem." I scurried off the woods and truthfully had the worst diarrhea of my life. But thankfully it was quick. I love when it's quick. Like, let it just be over with.
He probably heard everything.
And my stomach felt truly so much better. I was terrified of being eaten by a bear and could not see anything in the dark.
At least he wasn't like, "Hey, let me shine a light on you so the bears don't come." I would have been like, "Go, can you move your snowmobile up?" And then just like clap and make a lot of noise to drown out the sounds for the bear.
Okay, so let's put ourselves in her position. So like say you were on a trip with like my friends and I was sick and you did this whole excursion and you're with one of my friends and it can't be Kira and it's like someone else. And they're like, "So would you rather shit in the dark with like the sounds of bears rummaging around you or have one of my friends flash a flashlight on you while you shit?"
Well, the flashlight would be a nightmare, but I would be honest. I would be like, I have to shit because I'm just an honest person and I don't care.
Yeah, and you're not an IBS survivor. We returned to the trails and continued our hellacious journey back to the cabin. Let's bring that word back, hellacious. Again, I reiterate that we truthfully had no idea if we were going the right direction. At one point, we ended up looking at a map and we were so far off the trail, I don't even know how we ended up there, but fortunately it worked out. There was one minor incident where while we were turning around because we missed our turn, my friend turned too quickly and his snowmobile tipped over onto its side and tossed him off.
Oh.
Thankfully, he was okay and his snowmobile was not damaged, so we kept driving. We finally made it home at midnight, so up to 8:30, so 3.5 hours. And I had never been happier to be home in my entire life. My poor husband had been up waiting for us the entire time and was equally as terrified that we were lost in the woods.
You got an angel watching over you, girl.
I learned a few valuable lessons that day, especially about splitting off from a group and also about bringing extra resources with me during rides. We had no food or water, no extra clothes to change into if we have gotten wet or cold, no medical supplies, and also no tools to fix any broken parts. I also have been very lucky enough in my life to not be an IBS survivor. I typically have very good bowel control, so this experience was a first for me, and now I have such empathy for anyone that has to encounter that feeling on a regular basis. I think this was probably stress-induced.
Probably.
Because that used to happen to me a lot.
And the vigorous movement and all the bumps. But I also just want to say these guys that were friends, like whoever thought it was a good idea to split off when it was that late in the day, that feels ignorant to me.
Well, I also look at their perspective and I'm like, oh, we just drove 4 hours and we've been here for an hour and a half. You want to go home already?
But look at their perspective. They were like, oh, let's leave at 3 because they just want to go like bop around town. You're 4 hours away. It's not right around the corner.
Well, I'm not going to blame anyone because we don't have the context of the entire story.
I'm blaming the boys.
I only told the story to my husband as I knew he would laugh, and he is an IBS survivor, so I knew he'd understand. I hope this makes you laugh, counselors and fellow campers. Love, lust in the wilderness with the shits in cabin 6.
That honestly, that was a good story, but it really could have turned out bad.
Yeah, and that it just, oh my God, I'm just such not a nature person like that. Like I love to be by a babbling creek in a hotel.
I'm sorry, for 4 hours driving and not going inside. I need to be inside at most times.
80 miles. There's no other town local. Like order Domino's.
Yeah. Also, don't they have like trail signs like how they do on hiking trails where it's like the blue triangle this way, black diamond that way? It's different,
babe. You've never been there. You don't know.
Well, you got to find the closest road and just stick to it.
You need to make this your mission in life to make clear trail signs because you're passionate about it and I want you to channel this.
But what if I get lost? You know my direction. I'm so directionally challenged. You think I'm going to be giving other people directions when they need it the most?
Yeah. Also Uber.
Yeah, Uber.
Uber. Okay, get an Uber driver and then be like, okay, I'm going to follow you in my snowmobile.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so on to my scary story. I've loved a good spooky story ever since I was a little girl, so I thought I'd share my very own with you. I'm the youngest of 3 sisters. When I was about 20 years old, I was headed to my oldest sister's, let's call her Prue, her home in Long Island to celebrate my niece's baptism, and I was the godmother. Sometimes I feel like baptisms, it's really just about the godmother.
I was the godfather.
Who?
Axel.
Oh, to Axel.
Yeah, my nephew.
Oh, did you do the celebration? Dip him in the pool?
No, but I was up there for it. There is a photo of me. I was like definitely like at a bigger state. Like I'm in my chunky area right now. I was definitely chunky then, but I was younger. And the way the outfit is so unflattering. It is. I look like some sort of like purple peep.
No, why were you in purple?
Well, it was an outfit choice.
Was it a purple suit?
No, it was a purple like long sleeve. The outfit, I don't know. It just the fit. It was the fit, not the color. The fit.
I need to find that picture, please.
I have it.
Okay, can we post it?
Yes. I'll put peeps over my like the kid's face.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're celebrating niece's baptism. I am the godmother. Problem was I was sick, not head cold sick, full on flu-like sick.
Oof.
Looking back, I probably should have headed to the doctor and had some strong antibiotic and not a party on Long Island, but I was the godmother. I did what any 20-year-old with no health insurance does. I rallied and I dragged myself out there. Honestly, I miss those days because now if I have a headache, the day is shot.
Yeah.
We were spending the night, and in the morning, there would be the baptism promptly followed by a party. Now, I have to tell you, Prue always insists that her apartment is haunted. Silly stuff like the TV turning on and off, stuff like that. So this night, I slept, more accurately, laid awake, feeling like I was on death's doorstep, alone in my older niece's bedroom. The only reason I got my own room was because no one wanted my germs or to listen to me hacking up a lung all night.
Honestly, such a life hack. If you're in a big crowded house, get sick and you'll get your own bed.
Life hack, start hacking, boo. My other sister, we'll call her Piper. Anybody watching Charmed? And my mom and dad all slept in the living room on pullouts. This sounds like a lot of useless details, but I promise it's relevant. This was a very hot summer night, and Prue had no air conditioning. So I had an oscillating fan blowing right on my face. I was feverish with chills, so I didn't mind the warmth of the room. I was laying there awake thinking I had never felt this awful before in my life. It was quiet and dark, and I felt the cold breeze every time the fan passed my face. That's when I began to feel someone breathing on my neck. Yes, you read that right. Timed with the normal rhythm of breathing, I could feel the warm exhale up close and personal on the back of my neck. And even more than that, I had the strongest sensation that someone was spooning me and holding me tight. It was as if I could feel the weight of their body leaning on mine.
Oh,
This may sound absolutely horrifying, but believe it or not, it was actually pretty comforting.
what?
She's like, listen, I haven't been spooned in a while. It's been a minute. Please, I'm the godmother. The presence felt nurturing like a mom. And it felt like she was there to help me feel better. I can only describe it as feeling like she was drawing the sickness out of my body. I would welcome that ghost 24/7.
I know, but this whole visual of a ghost like sucking out like the energy from you, whether it's good or bad, is too spooky. I've never seen a ghost.
This is giving
too much.
Dementor.
It's like, I saw a little girl. No, wait. This girl's like, I was literally sucked on by Mama T behind me. And I'm terrified.
But
she's like,
But I liked it.
Yeah, it's actually kind of nice.
Okay, so the only way I can describe it, she was drawing the sickness out of my body. This went on for some time. I remember thinking, am I hallucinating because of my fever? Why isn't this scaring me? But I eventually drifted off to sleep. Fever dreams are crazy. Like, it is true.
Yeah, this sounds like a fever dream.
I always have like the same weird, it's not even a dream. It's like a feeling that my pillows are like growing and attacking me. That's a me thing.
That's a you thing.
Okay.
You also put your pillows in the craziest spaces. I'm like, why do you have like 3 pillows in between your thighs and you're stacked up? And you're like, I'm baking bread.
I just like to surround myself with pillows. I love pillows. Okay. I'm a pillow queen. Pillow Talk by Zane. Stream it now. What was I eventually drifted off to sleep. The next morning, I loaded up on Dayquil and I put myself together like any good queen would.
Godmother.
Everything went well. And the party was great and the family was all there. That was literally all she wrote about it. Like, girl, what was there to eat? Like, give us details about that. Anyway.
Finger sandwiches.
Probably for $85 a head.
Ice cream sandwiches.
Who likes ice cream sandwiches?
That was good. It sounded just like her.
Afterwards, I rode home with my parents and Piper. It had been a hectic morning and I hadn't mentioned my encounter to anyone. During the ride, Piper goes, oh my God, I totally forgot to tell you guys. Last night, I saw a ghost. My jaw dropped. According to Piper, sometime in the middle of the night, she woke up to see a figure of a woman in a white dress walking through the room. This must have been the same spirit I saw. Of course, I shared my story as well. We all still talk about this more than 20 years later. Needless to say, Prue was completely freaked out when I told her, and more than happy to leave that apartment behind when they eventually bought a house. Thank you so much for all the light and joy and silliness you bring to my day with this podcast. Please never change and always keep it coming. Love you both like Long Island Lost Brothers. XOXO. What a great story.
I know. And what a great godmother to be like, you know what? Through thick and thin, I will be there. I don't care if an old ghost in a bridal couture gown is spooning the fuck out of me. I'm going to support this new little baby and eat those ice cream sandwiches.
And I'm going to, bulk up on the acetaminophen. Give me that Dayquil, baby. That bright orange, weird, sticky, syrupy goo.
Were they in the Jersey Shore for that?
For what?
Where that party was?
Long Island. Well, that's all we got for you today. I hope you enjoyed that episode, campers.
Yes. Thank you for listening. Thank you for rating and reviewing, watching on YouTube, sharing with your friends, supporting the show. We love you so freaking much, campers. We'll see you Wednesday. We'll see you next week. We'll see you forever. And with that being said, lights out, campers.